Hi, everybody. Welcome back and happy Wednesday. All right, guys. Well, we are back. I know that I wasn't here on Monday or Friday. Last Friday, I was with my friend Lori. We went to Leba's new restaurant, Zachary's Daiquiris. So much fun. The food was great. The drinks were incredible. And the vibe, it was very like if you guys have seen Palm Royale on Apple with Kristen Wiig, it was very Palm Royale. It kind of reminded me of Palm Beach. But on top of that, then on Monday, the day before yesterday, I was back and my aunt was flying out at 1:00 in the afternoon. So that was not going to work either. I don't even know why I'm telling you guys this. We're moving on. Smash the like button, show some love. Let's welcome Ashley and Imani from Taste of Reality. I'm babbling. I think you could tell that I missed you guys. That's all. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about on here.
It's one of those days. I think we're all in interesting form today.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And also not sponsored, but Celsius will do that to me.
Okay, we've all got our bevies.
Yeah. Just some La Croix.
Yes, I'm drinking out of my Backstreet Boy cup because I am going to see the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere, and that will be my entire personality for the next few months.
That's so exciting, Ashley.
I love the Backstreet Boys so much.
I can't wait to see the Sphere one day. By the way, I would love to do that for BravoCon. Vicky Harnish, Adam, tell us about Jax. I'll talk to you. Just remind me at the end of this, Vicky, and I'll talk a little bit about the Jax stuff, but this isn't a shocker to anybody.
Why did Bravo not collaborate with the Sphere and do like Vicky Gunvalson, and we have Bethany Frankel all around us at the Sphere saying, you know, all the classic lines, like mention it all.
Could you imagine just being like a Bravo meme?
Bravo.
Do you know that Jason told me that tickets for BravoCon are on StubHub already?
I saw that.
How?
Money, I forgot to tell you that. StubHub sent me an ad for something, and I looked, and it said BravoCon, and it's already up there. And I'm like, that's got to be fake.
It has to be.
They're not even available. I don't. Did they?
I mean, why? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not shaking my head that I know for a fact that it's real. I'm saying like, why would it be on StubHub then?
Right. Exactly.
Can people just upload things to StubHub?
I don't know. I've never partaken in the event scammer industry, so I'm not quite sure. But I know that we're going to BravoCon, so if it is, we need to skirt over to
What was that? Oh, Fire Festival. Hey, everybody, come out here to this music festival where Kendall Jenner, and like they gave them like sandwiches, and you were lucky to get like a tent while you were stationed on this freaking island.
Exactly.
Oh, it's so funny. Not Firefest. I mean, that was traumatic.
Trauma. Where was Firefest, by the way? I forget.
It was on one of the islands. I don't remember which one, but they literally went to an island.
Yeah, it wasn't even like it was like an actual deserted island, because if it would have been like a populated island, then the people could have at least had somewhere to go and figure out. This was just like, welcome to the island.
Welcome to horror.
Yeah. Welcome to horror.
This is the apocalypse, especially for those like flossy ass rich people. Like that was the funniest part for me.
Anyway.
Well, I wanted to get into this. Actually, since we didn't have hot messy topics, there were a few things that have been coming out. And I think that this is kind of fun for like a little bit of a mashup, to be honest with you.
Well, it was kind of a slow Beverly Hills, not in a bad way. It was a nice episode and everything. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like groundbreaking.
It wasn't groundbreaking. And, you know, there are other things that are happening out in the world right now, especially in the Bravo universe. Like, one, let me give it to my girl over here, Monica.
Cadoos.
Congrats, Monica. By the way, don't ever say I can't keep a secret.
Yeah, Adam, you didn't invent that one.
No.
And by the way, same. By the way, same for us.
Yeah. We're not pregnant, but we can keep a secret.
Correct.
No, I believe I've told you guys stuff before.
Yeah. If anyone slides in our DMs, Bravo Lab or otherwise, we are a trusted source.
Yeah, we're vaults.
You know what's wild is people really don't believe this, or they don't realize this until it's too late. But when your word and your reputation, it takes a whole lifetime to build that up, and it takes 10 seconds to completely demolish or destroy it or dismantle it. It's the same thing. my friend Lori and I would sit there and argue a little bit back and forth while Salt Lake City was playing, because she was like, release the text messages. And I'm like, once I do that, there is no coming back. And it was really hard for me. Like things like that. It's like, now looking back in hindsight, like I don't have to be like hindsight's 2020, because I'm really happy with how everything played out. But it's true. It's like once you show what you're capable of by releasing people's messages or breaking or breaching that trust, then you've already shown that you're capable of doing it.
Right, exactly. And in this space, your word and your integrity is paramount, and your name is all you have. So once you tarnish that, you're done.
You're done.
Preach.
There's no coming back. Unless you're just getting paid for it like Jax Taylor.
Right.
And then you get to just like be more and more of an asshole and be like, I'm on the pasta.
Right. Before we pivot to the pasta, can I just make one quick point about the edit? And I don't know if anybody, I'm sure you guys, obviously you clocked it, Adam, Imani, we clock these things because this is like what we do. But the Venita thing, the Venita JT thing, and the the Instagram story that she put out clarifying the night of the Branzino dinner, it appears that Venita had the same thing happen to her that happened to you regarding that phone call, where the phone call on the Salt Lake City episode was edited to look like it was cohesive and it was not. I don't feel like Venita blamed the edit personally. Like, I feel like blaming the edit, and this is like maybe like a difference of like definition. I feel like blaming the edit is like blaming the edit for something that like trying to get off like something that you said that you didn't say. But like, she's just saying that all this happened. It just didn't happen in the order that you saw it. Right. And is that blaming the edit? Because it's not, she's not saying it's not true. She's just saying the order didn't happen the same way.
You know what's funny is I just saw Benita at Zach Stack's, right? And I love you, Lori. But Lori walks up and says, Benita, I need to introduce you to my friend Adam. Benita and I have met like 20 times. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like we've been around each other, and she knows Jason, and you know. And then Benita says to Lori, because I didn't even realize that Lori was trying to introduce me to Benita, or else I would have just stopped it. But Benita said, oh, I think he's running off. I think that he's scared of me or something. And I was like, why would I be scared of her? I didn't say anything bad about her. Then it was like, guys, as I was walking through this beautiful daiquiri establishment, I run into Molly O'Connell, where I just shared that her boyfriend came out and like completely ripped her. Then I turn around and try to beeline it from Molly O'Connell, and I run into Sally Carson. Like, where I just completely dismantled her for the whole Craig thing. And then I was like, okay, we're done. We're done at Zach Stacks for this. But JT's girlfriend did come out and said, well, she said this. She said, Benita met me as Jared's girlfriend at dinner with Bunny last April pre-filming, but I appreciate her trying to save face, and I'm happy to send the receipts in response to what Benita sent.
Right.
I've been around Venita and I've been around Allie. Allie, I've heard both sides of their stories. They don't necessarily line up, but I don't blame either one of them. I blame JT for that.
I was going to say, I think the villain in the story is JT.
Totally.
100%. Anyone can see that he has expressed interest in Venita, and obviously Ray Charles can see Venita is interested in JT. So he should have nipped that in the bud a long time ago. The timelines are interesting to your point. Ashley and I had a phone call where we were like, okay, wait, let's think this through.
We had a murder board ready and everything. We were what is this timeline?
Yeah. Can I get on these calls? Can I get on these calls?
They get chaotic.
No, it's chaotic. So we're like sitting there with our Inspector Gadget hats, and we're like, okay, so wait, the Branzino, which by the way, what is Branzino?
It's a fish.
Oh my God, no idea. I don't.
It's a fish, Imani. Oh my God, you guys are so cute.
Yeah, I didn't ask what Branzino was.
I know you're not like a food person.
No.
Adam, did you know what Branzino was?
Yes.
Okay.
You're from Florida.
I'm from Florida too. I'm just the Florida trash version.
No, I'm the Florida trash version, and I clocked Branzino. Okay.
I'm from a swamp in Louisiana. Like, I have no room to talk. Like, we shared space.
Yeah, no,
you're not getting Branzino in the Everglades, so we'll say that.
Yeah, 100%. So anyway, we were trying to figure out the timeline, and then also interestingly, now I don't think Patricia actually Bradshaw, or however you say her last name. Sorry, Miss Patricia. I don't think she's scrolling TikTok. However, her account commented on Ashley's TikTok about this. Ashley, do you want to say what the account said?
Yeah, I was just kind of asking like the whole Vanita thing. Like, first of all, people were ripping her for blaming the edit. And I'm not saying she's not blaming the edit, but I don't know if we're all on the same page of what that means. And I was just kind of like, where are we? Like, this situation, this timeline is weird. Like, Vanita said she was just trying to be his friend. Like, but we have seen her literally straddling this man. Like, it's all just weird. Miss Patricia slipped in the comments and said something to the effect of, why would you have a man over for a beautiful dinner if you didn't have an agenda? Not her words, mine. That's
basically that was the summary.
And I assumed what Imani just said. I'm like, oh, well, so Patricia's social media person's just, going through. I'm doubting Miss Patricia sitting on TikTok, but she just followed JT on Instagram yesterday.
I think that she realized that Craig was a big ball of bullshit. And
Correct.
Can I say something real fast about Craig?
Please.
Number one, I hope to see some of you people out there at Giggly Squad Saturday night in Las Vegas, because your girl's going to be there to giggle. Number two.
I hope you're not holding your breath for Craig to be there.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, okay.
Ew. No, I want to tell you guys firmly, because I flipped and flopped on this. I am firmly Team Paige. I'm not saying you have to agree with everything she's navigated. It's her damn business. But the man is a compulsive liar. And I think he's unattractive again. I thought he was like not hot. And then I thought he got hot like when he was with Paige. I'm like, wow, he's really handsome. And now that he's not with Paige anymore, I'm like, he's not really that hot. I just think that like she is so beautiful. And the fact that he's like tall and dark, like I was like, oh, they're a beautiful couple.
Is he dark?
I guess like the dark hair,
okay,
like the dark eyes, I guess. I don't know. But I guess he's just kind of like a lot of people find him attractive, but I think his insides are like coming out because I think he's a terrible liar. I think he's a compulsive liar, and he gives me the ick.
You know what's so funny? And guys, I see, and don't worry, we will get to the Beverly Hills of it all. You know what's so funny? You know who I find to be like the best looking, like hottest one on Southern Charm?
I'm going to guess.
Go.
JT?
No. Shep, this is, as somebody who has fake teeth, like, I know that there's a lot of care and stuff that needs to go into them. And like, there's a lot, it tells you a lot about hygiene and stuff like that. No, that, and also the little possum on his little pooch when he was out in the Bahamas. And you see like the little like belly hair. I'm not one for that. That freaks me out. So no. JT looks like Lord Farquaad from Shrek, and that is not to be like an asshole. But like if Lord Farquaad had a bigger brother, that would be Craig Conover.
Oh my
Austin, I just
God.
think is like a big sweetheart. But if I was looking at one person who was like actually the attractive one, do you guys remember Rod from last season?
Oh yeah, Rod was attractive.
Yeah. Rod would be, I just saw him at Zach Stocks, and I was looking at Leva's sister because her sister Mo she's like the cutest. She's so gorgeous, and she's single. And she was talking to him, and I'm like, psst, psst. And she's like, no. And I was like, get in there, girl. Get in there. And then I was like trying to stomp on some people's toes. And like, oh, that's so crazy. Did Mo step on your toes again? That's so wild. Rod, Mo, Rod. What?
I will take no arguments for this. The hottest guy on Southern Charm is Brett Randall, period, end of sentence.
Oh, Ashley, I'm with you. Agreed.
Yeah, our best friend's
Madison's
husband. Yeah, Imani and Madison are
like,
best friends, and I'm tagging along.
Yes.
So we're not, but yeah, our energy is definitely on 55 today.
Yeah, you're off.
This is a high octane live. Everybody, apologies.
There's a lot. One, we didn't know that Ashley was going to be here, and two, Imani is in the middle of moving, so we have a lot going on. But we're going to get into the Beverly Hills of it all, and we're going to start right here with the fact that we have Miss Kyle Richards, who clearly found out that Mauricio was seen with another woman, being Nikita Khan. She did share the text that she received from Mauricio after kissing this woman and being seen with this woman. What were your guys' thoughts about this? And do you think that it was staged by either Mauricio or Nikita?
Okay, so my question on this is I feel like they're talking about two things right now when they're talking about being staged. So I feel like half the team, or not team, half the cast thinks Mo staged this. And I think like Mo and Kyle are fighting like publicly about like being with different people. That's one. And then I also feel like the other camp thinks Nikita planned this. Like I think Kyle's like, Mo's not Brad Pitt. Why would this happen? Like, so I feel like there's two different theories as to why it was staged. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. Like there's two different perspectives.
But well, kind of, and just to piggyback off of this really quick, this really gives me Heather and Terry DeBro at Disneyland with Pops.
Yeah.
Pops. And I feel like for Kyle, if I see her out and about on Rodeo Drive and I see photos snapped of her with like Lisa Rinna and Morgan, then I'm not surprised by that. But then when I see her like on a nice little beach retreat in the middle of nowhere and there's just like a photo of her and Morgan, I'm like, I don't think that people are diving in that deep. I kind of feel like they do this to keep themselves in the loop of everything. And just still, it's like it's putting them out there, it's putting their names out there, and it's still solidifying their roles on the shows and the interest in them. I think that they're not doing it to some degree would just be naive.
Right. Yeah. I guess the question is, what's the motive in this particular instance as to why they staged these photos?
Right. I think the point here is that these photos were staged. The angle that it was at to where exactly, I don't know, I think it was in the after show where Nikita had her like leg perched, and the fact that they were like at the perfect distance from her to where they were able to get full body shots, those were staged photos. Nobody's convincing me otherwise. I personally think it was Nikita who staged them. But the funniest thing in the episode, one of the funniest things was them going back to Brad Pitt like twice. Like, it's not like Mauricio is Brad Pitt. Number one, I died. And then I thought, I was like, dear Lordy, if there's a Bravo God, can Shania Twain be a Bravo-holic? Because we need the remix of, instead of, who are you, Brad Pitt? We need the remix that's, who are you, Mauricio Umansky? That don't impress me much.
But no, well,
and that's the remix we need. Thank you.
I was going to say too, you know, like I spoke with Chyna a couple times, and when she was out with Robbie and dating that guy from The Bachelor, she called the paparazzi, and she's talked about this on her show. She called the paparazzi on them. And then when I went to Miami to do the interview with Katharina Mazeppa, who is Lisa Hochstein's now ex-husband's fiance,
right?
When we were talking, these photos, when they came out, I was talking to her at dinner, and I was like, was this like such a shock for you? Was this? And she was like, yeah, it was a shock because I had to find the photographer and I had to get everything done and I had to get it all ready to do the shoot. Like, I was engaged like weeks before that. And I was like, oh, okay. So yes, it is for the perfect photo op. It's for social media. It's for there's always a motive behind it, no matter what that is. If you're trying to piss off your wife, and he might be trying to piss off his wife, because by the way, Kyle doesn't really have a leg to stand on. You went on and you did a music video with this woman. You're running around with her. You're being very odd and playing super coy about your feelings and how you're navigating them with her. You're like, I don't know if I'm a lesbian. I don't know if I have feelings for her. I don't know if and it's like, she's playing. That's okay, by the way. You're allowed that, but you're also playing with this. And now if he is too, in retaliation, I'm not saying it's mature,
right?
But that's what there's no such thing as show me a nice divorce, unless you're Halle Berry. Show me a nice.
There's no such thing, and I think Erica Girardi would 100% co-sign that, Adam. That there's no such thing as a nice divorce, and people's true colors come out. I guess my thing here is like, obviously, we're not in a business of outing anybody, and people can do whatever they want. These are full-blown adults here, which is even more weird to me that Mo is kind of like traipsing around everywhere with these young girls. But hey, when you're that rich, you get bored. I get it. Like, well, I don't actually, because I'm not in that tax bracket, but I understand that. But my thing is like, I wish Kyle, how like transformative would it be if Kyle like came out and been like, I am in my 40s. I am navigating this new relationship. This is what I'm going through. I just wish she was more transparent about it, because everyone thinks something happened between her and Morgan, and she just keeps denying. Nothing makes sense. And that's why people are having issue with Kyle and Mo's relationship split in her storyline on the show, is because it just doesn't seem authentic.
You know, can I say really quick too? I don't want to speak for either one of you because I don't know your financial situations, but with Kathy Hilton pretty much calling Mauricio like broke and saying that he doesn't have enough money to pay somebody to like do these photos.
God, I love it so much.
I just thought in my head, I'm like, they have a net worth of $100 million, Kathy. Like, and Kathy's like, I'm over here and I was bored, so Rick gave me a $50 million home to renovate, and so here we are. And it's just like the level of, and I love me some Kathy Hilton. I'm like the level of just like not being aware, I kind of live for, because that's what I want to see on these shows. If Mauricio is broke, I am dirt ass.
We're desolate.
I am on the street. I am on what is that Skid Row?
Skid Row.
I am on Skid Row.
So my thing too is I felt like that conversation that Kathy and Kyle had was so illuminating of the real Kathy Hilton. Like, she was ready to like get Mo's ass. And I'm just like, this is Kathy Hilton. She's strategic. She's I don't want to say calculated necessarily in a bad word, but she was ready on PR. So I'm like, this is a really great glimpse of Kathy Hilton. And I know her shtick is like being aloof and head in the air. And, you know, she interrupted Sutton's fashion show. And we're like, okay, that's one version, but Kathy's incredibly smart. And so I felt like that was a really great insight into Kathy and her kind of like being the matriarch of the family, being like, this is what we're going to do. She gave me Erica Jane. And when Erica was like talking to Dorit about how to manage her divorce with PK, just like, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it, and this is how it's going to go. I appreciated it.
When she was sitting there in the car, when Kyle picked her up and she was like talking to her, and she's like, well, what are your thoughts about this? And Kyle's like, what do you think we're talking about? And she's like, well, I don't know. Like, I just like, those are the moments where I love Kathy. But I will say this, and I think I've said this on here before. There was something that was supposed to come out at the reunion, and it was supposed to be a complete attack on Kathy, right? Okay. And I messaged Kathy. I reached out to her because I knew it was coming, and she was nothing but kind to me. She gave me the first YouTube interview that she ever did. She was so sweet to me. And I said, and I knew what it was about, and it was bottom of the barrel, terrible.
Was it true?
Was terrible. Huh?
Was it true?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I just know, I know what was coming. I knew what was coming. And so I reached out to her and I let her know. I said, even if you don't believe this, you know, like, you've been so kind to me, I want to let you know. And lo and behold, I saw her at BravoCon after. It was true. It was coming, and it was going to be used at the reunion. And when I saw her at with Ashley at, well, Ashley didn't.
I didn't see her.
When I saw her at her party, she even said, she was like, I'll never forget that. And I'm like, no, I think that's, you know, like, it is a different side of her. She is very smart. She's very, very witty. She knows what's going on. And to think that you're going to be Paris Hilton's mother, this girl who, like, she literally, her daughter grew up in the transitional phase of what was old school Hollywood paparazzi with the glamour and all of that, to implementing the flip phone and selfies and this new element of social media. She went through that transitional phase while trying to calm down a wild child who was Paris Hilton, who literally launched a sex tape at the same time called A Night in Paris, while they were out here being like these massive socialites, like, who were, she's not stupid.
She's not. And
she's not stupid. That's all. Let's
remember that Paris also grew up alongside Kim Kardashian for all intents and purposes. And Kris Jenner is one of the greatest minds to ever market her daughters. And so Kathy and Kris are quite close. I bet they have trade secrets, you know? So you don't have to like Kris Jenner or the Kardashians, but you can't argue that that is a machine, and they're very smart women, and they know what they're doing, and they know how to market themselves. So,
I argue with my husband about this every day.
You know, it's interesting on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show. I just had it on in the background a few minutes ago. And Dorit and Bose had this conversation about Kathy Hilton. And Dorit said, well, you know, she's got a plan. She's a mastermind, you know, behind all this. And Bose was like, no. She's like, no, she knows the whole thing. And they went back and forth on it. And Bose, by the end of the discussion, was like, okay, yeah, well, you know, I'm listening. So, yeah, they had that conversation. I think she's savvy. You know, I don't like to use, I love the term, but I feel like Kathy leans into the idiot savant. I don't love the term idiot. I don't think she's an idiot at all, but she's definitely that savant that, and I'm not mad at it. It's fun to watch, but I definitely think she's smart, but I don't think she's fake. I think she is legit quirky. And I don't know if you guys saw, but we actually published this article yesterday at Taste of Reality. Kathy Hilton still has her Christmas tree up. It's March. She was proudly posing in front of her Christmas tree on the way to an Oscars party like it's a normal thing. And you know what, Kathy? If that's normal to you, we love you and we want more of this.
Yeah.
First of all, she looks amazing. That dress is stunning on her. The bell sleeves. I noticed some sequins at the Academy Awards that I felt looked very cheap. Those sequins look expensive.
Can I just say too?
I had the same thought.
I was just gonna say, please don't. I just want to say, like, I don't want to jinx the life that I have, that I feel very incredibly grateful and blessed for. Please, but why wasn't I born into a Hilton family?
Thank you.
My trust fund. I'm like, where are you? Like, I need a trust fund.
She's out here, like. You have Ashley out here like doing the prehistoric, like where they're sitting there with like the tiniest little brushes like on the sand to make sure that you.
I'm an archaeologist.
And she's like, nope, still.
Well, yeah, agreed. And again, I'm so thankful for my life. Like, thank you, God. Very thankful. And thank you for all the abundance that's coming to me. Amen. But agreed. I would be so good at being wealthy. I already spend money like I am. I love to travel. I was born for this.
Before we end up actually moving on to like back to the Beverly Hills stuff, do you think that it would be hard being like, if you look at Barron and I think it's Barron and Conrad Hilton?
Yes.
Barron and Conrad. And then you look at Rob Kardashian and you look at the girls and how the girls, like, they just really, in this industry, it's once you're in it, you're in it. Like a Gigi and Bella. Like once you take off in it, you're off in it. You know, like even like an Amelia Gray. But for like the guys, it's always a harder. Like they even tried the same thing with Anwar Hadid.
Yeah,
you know, like tried to put him out there. It's like it would suck to be a dude in this.
So
I'd want to be the girl.
In that vein, I think it's really interesting. And I know people get so fatigued of Kardashian. Like we see it on our website. Like whenever we publish a Kardashian story, people are like, no more Kardashians, whatever. We hear you. However, they're very much still in our orbit. So if something topical happens, you know, we do have to cover it. But anyways, I remember seeing a TikTok forever ago, but it was talking about the differences in which the Kardashians and the Jenners raise their daughters versus how they raise their sons. Like the second generation Kardashian, all the grandkids, like the girls are very much so marketed to us. They don't really show the sons. How many times do you see Air? We've never seen Rain. Granted, he's a baby and Courtney moves very secretive. She's picks and chooses. Kylie? And Kylie never shows her son. We barely see Tatum, but we see those girls. Kylie does like Ulta hauls with Stormy, like we see all of the granddaughters.
I don't think about the Kardashians. That's really interesting.
Very rarely see the boys, the sons. It's all the girls because they can market the girls. And so the boys, and peep it this way too, the Kardashians are very interesting when it comes to men in their family. Like they can almost do no wrong and they like protect them very intensely. All of the exes are still around, Scott, Tristan, Khloe did that thing with Lamar. Like they always treat the boys with kid gloves and the girls are kind of pushed out. So it's very interesting. People on TikTok are very astute. And I'm like, that's an interesting thing to pick up on how the Kardashians regard the men in the family versus the women.
So somebody said, Care Bear said, I get a kick out of North, LOL. I don't know if you guys are watching this, by the way. And again, guys, we're getting back to Beverly Hills. Don't worry.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
We digressed, but Kim
yeah,
is
people are
going
like, can we not talk about them? Okay, let's head back over to Beverly Hills land.
I was just going to say, Kim is going to have her hands full, though, because North is such a little diva. And watching her on the show when she's like, Mom, you're so annoying. Like, you're so stupid. Like, get out of my face. Like, you can't use my... I'm like, oh, God, be careful what you wish for, because you might have got yourself 10 times over with that little Kanye West inside of her.
Moving on, I can't stand the Kardashians, and I love this comment section right now. They're like, anyway, Beverly Hills, about Beverly Hills. Like, yes, we are.
No, I know, it's so funny. They're like
swiping, swipe.
So
swipe.
on top of that, since we were talking about it, the runway.
This was cringe. I was cringing so bad, and I honestly feel like Kathy knew what she was doing in this moment. And somebody else, again on TikTok, had said that Kathy's like always tries to make a scene at a fashion show. They also cited another time where she's done something at a fashion show. So maybe this is kind of like her thing.
We covered them both at tasteofreality.com for the record. Because the other one, she had like instigated Tiffany Haddish to like go up in the middle of the show and start walking.
Yeah.
There was this, and then there was that, and it looks weird that she does that at fashion shows.
Well, my thing is too, is this woman has been invited to so many fashion shows. I've never been invited to like a big fashion show. Granted, it's Sutton's, I understand that. But like, I have coof enough to like not walk back behind the thing, and I've never been to one. I'm Florida trash, remember? So I'm like, Kathy Hilton, who, by the way, love Kathy Hilton. I'm not saying anything. I get she's making the show entertaining and whatever, but I'm just like, she knew what she was doing walking back there. Nobody would walk back there. So I'm just kind of like, Kathy, I clock your game. I clock it.
Do you know, and I know I'm going to get shit in this in the comments, but I don't care, you guys. The last fashion show I went to was Elle Fashion Week in Bangkok.
Oh.
And I was walking in it, and I had a fake tooth, and I was chewing gum, talking to Jason, and the gum yanked the tooth out of my mouth. So then I looked, and I was like trying to piece it back in. And then they were like, okay, go. And we were walking, and I stepped on the person's robe in front of me, and they fell forward. And they were like, no, we're done on you. And Jason was like, this was the biggest fuck up. Like, we need to just, because we're moving to New York after. He's like, we just need to go now. Like, we're not staying here for 6 months. And I was like,
Sharon, I'm right by Melbourne. Sorry, I was reading the comment section. And so I'm right by there. Ariana Maddox is also from Melbourne. Fun fact, if you didn't know.
That's Sharon. But no, I was going to say for Kathy too, I think that like, when Kathy was like, like, do you want, she definitely knew what she was doing. She was like, do you want Dorit to like MC this? And she's like, it's a real fashion show. She's like, I know. And you're doing amazing, sweetie. Like, you're doing great. Like, it's a real fashion show. We know. And Sutton's like, what the fuck is going on? What do you mean? Like, if you know, then get out of here.
Yeah, no, I did die at that. She's like, do you want Dorit to do it? That made me laugh. I'm like, yes, antagonize Kathy, antagonize.
Oh, it was funny. Right before her show, Sutton was already like at the point of making Coffee nervous. So yeah, the timing was so curated for TV, but did I enjoy it? Yes.
It's also like, his name's PK, not PJ,
I don't know if you can get him right. I don't know. Like, I think that's part of her charm. And I say that because my mother can't get anything right. Like, she will mess up. And it's funny because my sister's husband and my husband have the same name. And we're like, thank God. Because she named us and she can't get our names right. So at least our husbands have the same.
You know what? I could see a world where she thought it was PJ. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I believe that.
Like, she doesn't care enough to address him correctly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's just like, why would I need to know Dorit's husband's name? Mood.
Mm-hmm.
Sheena got a blurb. Yeah, can we talk about how like Sheena had like a 2-second cameo in last night's Beverly Hills, and I saw maybe 2 people talk about it? I'd jump off a roof personally.
I know. And then, you know what? 2 of the other castmates from the Valley were there too, Janet and maybe Michelle, and they didn't get any screen time. I was surprised.
Okay, interesting.
I just saw that because I looked at the article I wrote.
Oh, right. I remember that now.
I do notice a lot of times too. It's funny. I spoke with somebody who they were asking me for advice on how to grow their YouTube and their podcasts and stuff like that because they work for, let's say a network. I don't know. Let's say Radio Andy or something like that. And they're like, well, we get paid X amount, but we get to go to all of the different things. You know, like how cool is that? We get to go to all of these events, and I see them at these events, and I'm like, I hope that's worth the paycheck.
Right.
Like, I hope that's, I would rather, no offense, I would rather just kind of like be in my like home space, make my money and just see if I get invited or ask if you, 9 times out of 10 though, like in the situation that we're in, I feel like you can ask and they will probably just let you come if they're not already booked up and they don't, they haven't already exhausted the list, but it's not a big deal. Anyways.
I just have to throw, I'm sorry, this is shady, but I'm looking at the article that we wrote about Sutton's fashion show. And not only was Janet and Michelle from the Valley not featured in the episode, even as a blurb, neither was Lala. Lala was there too.
Was she?
She was there. We actually, I posted something on that platform that used to be called Twitter.
Okay.
We have something on there, and it has photos of a very pregnant Lala with Michelle, Sheena, and Janet at Sutton's party.
That's interesting that only Sheena got the edit.
Right? It's interesting that Sheena's the only one because Sheena at this point isn't even on a show. At least Michelle and Janet are on active shows. Like they're active cast members still.
Can I just bring this up really quick too?
Yeah.
What
a stunning little family.
Oh my God.
I love me some them.
The genetic blessedness of that family, I mean, gorgeous, stunning.
Good for Garcelle and Jade and Jax. Honestly, good for them. I'm so happy for her boys. They're beautiful. They seem really well behaved and respect their mom. I just love this. Good for Garcelle. She has some good kids.
Yes, respect. She is really, really good mother.
Yeah, like what a beautiful little family.
Yeah.
I know. And I hope Garcelle, so off the point, but like I hope she finds love again someday. I just want that for her. So hopefully.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Moving on though too, I like that we saw Erica Jane and she was showing her mom her new place. I thought that Erica's place looked amazing, and we're celebrating the fact that she has a new Porsche. Okay.
Wallpaper. So much wallpaper these days. It is definitely a trend again.
The wallpaper is wallpapering.
Yeah.
And then you had Garcelle, and I'm like sitting here, like Garcelle was so proud of her son, Jade. First of all, by the way, Sutton, I'm going to say this, and you might not like it, but I think you're being a little bit of an asshole to Miss Jennifer Tilly because we love us some Jennifer Tilly. And like, she is not the same. She doesn't have to walk.
She doesn't need to go to the rehearsal. I mean, I am poor Louisiana trash, and you don't do that. You know, celebrities don't do that. You don't go to the rehearsal. You show up, and they tell them where to stop, where to pose, and move on. How does Sutton not know that? Love you, Sutton. But what, girl? What?
Well,
and Jennifer Tilly came in with her little drink, too. She was like,
she's shaking it down the
runway. I love Jennifer Tilly. I also was laughing when Jennifer was like, I don't think Sutton realizes that I'm a celebrity. Like, I got this. And I'm like, tell her, Jennifer.
That was such like a great flex because she didn't need to, like, it wasn't a flex because it was real, but like, that's why it's a flex.
Well, and it's also like, she's looking at her like, you know, I'm your friend, right? And like you got a divorce, and thankfully, like with everything, it panned out where you had this massive settlement.
Yeah.
And for me, I got a divorce from one of the creators of The Simpsons, got also a big settlement, but I'm also working and people know me for me outside of Housewives.
Yeah.
Like, but she says it in such a way of just like, you do know I'm not like bottom of the barrel over here, right?
Yeah, exactly. I like
that.
I also like Sutton is to me pretty holier than thou when it comes to marriages and how the women react to it and their timeline in which they are dealing with it. When I feel like Sutton brings up her ex, Christian, I think his name is,
Yeah.
at least once an episode. And you have divorced this man well over, was it like 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
So why are you still bringing it up when Dorit is in the throes of the separation with PK? She has 2 young children. Kyle and Mauricio are still navigating it, whether you think it's a ploy or not, but they're still very much in it. So I'm just like, Sutton is so holier than thou when it comes to like people needing to move on. And like, Sutton, you're not moved on. I don't think you've moved on for anything ever.
Well, and also, you know, this is an argument that I've had with my family multiple times about inheritance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just because my family has fought so many times. And mind you guys, my family has nothing to get. Like, we're talking about photos, a tear down, probably a car that has like a note on it. And it's not like none of us are inheriting anything big. But with Sutton, and her having the conversation about Christian, you know, like having another baby and how her kids better be protected first and foremost, I thought about it and I'm like, that's not how that works. That kid, the minute that kid was spat out, that kid became 1/3.
Correct.
Of those kids. That your kids do not hold priority over this third kid. You might say that you hold priority over the new woman, and that you deserve more than her, which at this point, girl, you're getting fucking $500,000 a month. Like, what are you? There's no more we can give you. We can't give you any more. Like, most of us don't see that in like 5 years' time. So you're getting this a month. But when she's like, you know, like, I need to make sure that my kids are going to be taken care of and that they are the priority in this before this other child. I'm like, no, that's not how that works.
That's definitely not how it works. I think obviously Sutton is very entitled. And I think her conversation last week, while I enjoyed the gag of it for reality TV, I'm just like, I'm shocked nobody collected her. Because if Sutton said to me, a woman whose wealth largely comes from her husband, that like her pocketbook is bigger, I'd have to be like, oh, wait a damn minute, Sutton.
Right, taking out my earrings.
A damn minute. And I appreciated Kyle on the after show because Kyle doesn't really flex her money outside of like her bragging about all the Birkins she has. And we know those are expensive. But I died at the after show when Kyle was like, and if we're going to be talking about net worths, then Sutton needs to have a seat too. And I'm just like, get her, Kyle, because what the hell? I just hate that conversation when women flex how much they have by proxy of their husband. I receive that when Sutton and her husband married, they didn't have anything and they built it. They built it together as a married couple, but absolutely not. Absolutely not. I felt like the women, especially Garcelle, should clock that, considering Garcelle is self-made, not just, and whatever. I know when you're married, Sutton stayed home with the kids. That is a job in itself. Stay-at-home moms, that is such a tough job. And I give it up to anyone who does it. However, how dare you knock another woman for how much they have in the bank when a large portion of how much you have in the bank and still get is by way of Christian. So I'm
going to agree with everything you just said, but I'm going to say something from, I think, Sutton's perspective. I'm not defending her because I hated what she said, but I think she knew at that moment she wanted to hit Dorit where it hurt her the most. Correct. And there is nothing, and this says a lot about Dorit, in my opinion, nothing would hurt her more than telling her she's poor.
I agree with that. Sutton was intentionally using that.
But I think that in that moment too, Dorit handled it very, very well.
She did.
Well, the fact that she didn't get up and start throwing arms is impressive.
No, I mean, but for her to sit there and be like, really, you guys? Like, you're sitting here. Because Garcelle did double down and said, you know, like, you have been an asshole to Sutton. But I think it goes both ways. I do. I think that you should never it's a really, for me, it's a really challenging kind of thing because it's like you don't have, Sutton does not have a real talent. There's not some talent or something or some business savvy mind that got you to this place. You ended up marrying your high school sweetheart who was uber successful, and that's that. And you ended up lucking out in a divorce settlement, and that put you in that position. That doesn't give you a right to shit on other people. If you were Bose and you were like, well, I was the CEO of Netflix and the CEO or CFO of this, and I had this big career and I was repping all of these companies and like I had a seat at the table, I think that there would be a lot more respect that would be behind it. But for you to just be like, sorry, bitch, I married rich. My wallet fits, yours doesn't. You married a loser, douchebag. It's like, then you're looking at it and you're kind of like, that's so. Is the flex here that you happen to marry somebody who also looks like a dirtbag, but he just happens to be more wealthy? Like, what is that the flex? I don't understand.
Well, I also thought it was interesting to that point, Adam, when Erica was like, do you think you're better than her? She asked that because I think Sutton, like, also to your point, Sutton, do you feel you're better than somebody because you have more money than them? And I appreciated Erica asking that. She was like, do you think you're better than Dorit? She's like, I think my wallet is. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, no, but like, I get it. Like, but here's my other hot take too. I think it was last episode. I think Dorit does antagonize Sutton with alcohol 100%. In that moment when Sutton got upset, I don't think she was, because Garcelle asked, is there alcohol in that? And Garcelle wasn't asking to be shady. She was asking because, like, I thought she was like, ooh, is that like a mixed drink or not? And then Dorit was like, well, hold up. She just asked you if there was alcohol in your drink and you didn't have an issue with it. So I don't think Dorit was being shady when she asked about having alcohol in her drink. I think she was just calling out the double standard, and it hit Sutton's ear. Like, you're asking if I'm drinking alcohol again? But I think Dorit was saying it in the sense of like, Garcelle just asked you if there was vodka in your drink and you didn't have an issue with it. But when I ask about you drinking, you do. That's how I received that conversation, and Sutton took it wrong.
But then also, if I were Sutton, I would look at Dorit and be like, well, you have weaponized this sobriety journey or whatever, not sobriety journey, but you've weaponized the alcohol that has been consumed and on my part. And Garcelle talks to me as a friend. So it's almost like if me and Ashley, like, say I'm not friends with you, Imani, and Ashley is, and you have a boyfriend, you just go through a breakup. And she said, hey, how's Randall Emmett? And you're like, you know what? Randall Emmett, he's not good. And I'm not into it anymore. But I've messed with you. And I said, Randall Emmett looks like little Big Ed. And I'm like, oh, hey, Imani, how's Randall? You're going to be like, yep, you. And shove that up your.
True.
And it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand that perspective.
I think that's the difference is I feel like Dorit has been known to weaponize the alcohol stuff, but also Dorit, to be fair, you had people doing things in your bathroom. We're not stupid. You're also like, none of them have a leg to stand on. I have been around all of these women. I'm not going to get sued. Not going to get sued, but no.
Right.
There's not a leg to stand on here. Everybody has partake in a lot of shady shit, or most people have. Let's just say that. Like, it's not like, this is not. No, it's bullshit. Sorry. Imani said it, guys. Go after her.
What?
Go ahead, Imani.
Go after me.
Please don't.
No. Yeah, no, but to our original point, I think Dorit handled it very well at the table, especially because Dorit has a mouth on her. And if she really wanted to, she could have destroyed Sutton's life at that table. I 100% believe that. Dorit has some really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, she cuts deep, and I think Sutton does too. And I think they both know how to do it to each other. And I think they just hate each other so much. So, I mean, I'm enjoying the back and forth, certainly. But yeah, I don't think her marrying well makes her better than anybody else.
No, and I think too, like, I just think it's not a cool advantage. It's like, if you want to talk about things that you've done, things that you've given back, like accolades that you have. If you want to be Dr. Wendy Osefo,
I was about to say 4 degrees.
4 degrees. You want to come in with that, you can't take that from them. You know what I mean? That's different. You want to come in and say that you had the best divorce and you have this massive settlement and my wallet's bigger. I just think that you kind of sound like an asshole.
Agreed.
You know?
100%. Definitely agree. And to your point earlier in the conversation about this, Sutton's fashion show was simply her just buying clothes for the store, correct? Like she didn't design those things. So you're simply still getting money basically off your name, which is fine. But like she's not a fashion designer. She just is finding clothes that look cute that she's selling in her store and having them walk down a runway, correct?
She's curating.
She's curating.
Yes, it was very envy.
Right.
So, in a way, don't I do that every day when I get dressed with the clothes?
We all care. I am a walking Sutton boutique because I am a sustainable fashion girly. I very, very rarely buy new clothes. This is from Goodwill. This is from Poshmark. This was from the runway that I ended up purchasing. Like, I understand the sustainable fashion thing. And if you're curating sustainable fashion to make sure it doesn't go in the runway, I 100 support that. I think the message, though, is where it gets confusing. Like, are you marketing them as your own? I love Sutton's mission. I just think the message is blurry. And on the after show, the women raked her. Like, they raked her over the coals, this fashion show. To read on the show, her
didn't
reaction
understand.
was shady. Huh?
Jennifer Tilly didn't understand what sustainable fashion was.
I can't believe that. I mean, not understanding sustainable fashion was very frustrating to me, but them not understanding her mission, I'm like, okay, her mission's kind of cloudy. While I stand by what she's doing, it's not clear. But like, how do you not understand that like throwing clothes away creates more litter in landfills, and we're going to eventually need to start living on top of trash because there's so much waste in the world.
We're at a point where we're running out of space for the amount of stuff.
I can't send it to space. We can't burn it because it like pollutes our air. Like, we have to stop making so much trash.
No, that's a really great point. But also, Dorit threw shade. I forgot this. Someone just reminded me in the comments at the thing when she was like, it was cute. Or whatever the effect was when they were like, do you think Sutton's fashion show? And she was like, I mean, I was cracking up.
The symbols, I don't know if you guys picked up on the sound effects that the producers used, but Dorit made like 3 faces. She went like, and then there was like a light.
Oh, yeah.
And then she went, and then there was another light symbol sound. And then she went, and then there was another light. I was like, God, I love these people in editing. I hope people clock those little nuances that they do. It is so funny.
Editing and production, they can really move a story. They really, truly can, which is their job. But you have to give it up to them. Atlanta producers are also so shady.
Chris, I'm going to do a fit check. I'm sorry, this is annoying.
Go ahead, Adam.
If you did not think Sutton's clothes were cute, like sustainable fashion could be fun. Even my skirt is reused. Like sustainable fashion for the win.
My skirt also can be used.
Look at that booty.
I'm not going to stand up because movie magic, I'm not wearing bottoms. My shirt is not sustainable. It is from Kelsey Ballerini's concert.
Oh, yay.
All sustainable.
Yes, but I'm not going to give it to, I'm going to wear it. So I feel like I'm doing my part.
You know, I do want to just go ahead and add to that too. It's very Melissa Gorga. It's very envy. And it's okay.
It's okay.
MD Posh, I will say your name. Because
oh my God.
Kim refuses because I am the rat and the insect and everything else, which fine. The Posh Fashion Show was also a curated line of other lines and pieces that were specifically brought in, that you are sort of doing a fashion show for your boutique of what the boutique showcases, not an actual fashion show for your line. So I think that is the difference.
And we're talking about Imani's panties now in the chat. So that's happening.
So I'm happy to report that I'm just not wearing like a legging or a short or a pant, but I am properly outfitted to be sitting in a leather chair.
She's in Florida. It's very muggy. We do not need her sticking to the chair when she tries to get up.
And that's a lot of information.
Yeah.
Um,
I
oh
cannot
my
listen.
God, Megan.
Adam's bum. I'm afraid that Jason will. No, he won't. No, I promise you. Jason, this morning, I was telling everybody that yesterday, Jason, you guys had really bad food poisoning. So he was viciously like just vomiting, and it was terrible. And it was all night. And he's like, I need to go to the hospital. And I was like, just lock the door. And you go and lock the door. And then finally he's like, I need a Coke. And I said, it's downstairs. And he's like, go get me a fucking Coke. So I went and got him a Coke, and I threw my leg over him. And like, I love a good squats day, you guys. So like the ass and the thighs and the legs, and like I live for it. I love to work those out.
And by the way, he's in the gym like every morning.
I throw my big ass leg over Jason, and he's like, ugh, get off of me. He's like, get off of me. Get your big ass leg off of me. And I was like, this is love. He's like, this is not love. This is
so funny.
Torture. But,
well, hopefully he's doing well. Hopefully he's recovering.
Oh, so much
poisoning's the worst.
He is. Christy G, thank you so much. He's definitely better. But yeah, speaking of which, I did want to just tack a couple other little random things before we end up going. Let me see if I have.
We still have to talk about Jax. We noted that earlier.
Yeah, we can talk about Jax really quick.
Because it's about the pasta.
So Jax Taylor came out and said that he's 82, 83 days sober off of the pasta and alcohol, which I found it to be interesting that I saw some of the comments and some people were surprised by this. I wasn't surprised by this. The only time I've ever had a cigarette thrown in my face or had this like nasty moment was with Jax. And Jax would look at me like real crazy like this and just be wild. And I never knew how to deal with somebody like him. I thought that he was crazy. I thought that he was like the biggest D-bag. And I thought that he was a complete asshole to deal with, especially with the way that he spoke to the women who were at SUR and also the bosses and even Lisa Vanderpump. I hated the way, like I would sit there and I would watch, but I had a front row seat to all of this. So to be fair, it's not, I'm not just judging him off of what we're seeing as a collective. I'm judging him off of being in the mix of it. And to think that anybody would be shocked that this man was dealing with the sobriety issue, I'm like,
yeah, water is wet. This was a shock.
Exactly.
The
shock was for no. If anything, the shock was Britney's statement. Imani published an article yesterday at Taste of Reality, and she basically said, "Yeah, everything he's doing is fine, but it's not enough. He's not like." As soon as he came out and said, "I'm doing the work. I'm going to be a better version of myself," she was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. You know what though? I think that I think that Jax is one of the few people, like, you really get rewarded for just being such an asshole.
Yeah.
And it's like, it drives me insane because it's just, we're watching somebody who makes hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars for being literally the very thing that everybody tries so hard not to be. And then you have, I talked about this, and it's a video that I have coming out today, guys, but just to give you the cliff notes really quick, like Gigi from Shaws of Sunset. I am not a fan of the Shaws of Sunset cast. Not most of them. I can't
stand them.
I like
I
MJ.
never really cared for it.
Oh my God. MJ, I think that she is complete bullshit. I mean, she literally put me in such an odd situation, and she was just a complete, it didn't pan out for her, and she got exposed for it. So that's that. And I see it. And I'm one of those people, I will put my hand on the stove one time. I will get burnt. It'll never happen again. Reza, I also see to be somebody who, like, if you don't get your way, you act out very just like abruptly. And Gigi, Gonnesia, however you want to address her.
Yeah.
Gonessa. You following this woman who we saw a video of her getting dragged across the floor and beat up by her ex, which was so triggering to so many people, but you saw her in the Los Angeles mall and you wanted to get in her face, yank her hair, punch her in the face, and then tell her that you were going to proceed to beat her ass. And she got a restraining order against you. And then you said, I'm still coming for you. My thing is it gives me very Lala. I hate this. I hate a bubblegum gangster. I hate somebody who comes in and says, you want to fuck around and find out? You want to find out? Because I'm going to let you know really quick. You want to get popped? You'll get popped. And it's like, no, you're from You're from like an affluent, like $500,000 a house neighborhood. What are you
Come on.
talking about?
Yeah.
Exactly. A
What-
paper
the pop-
gangster.
Yeah, like what do you? It's so wild because I was talking to somebody about this the other day at the gym because they were like, Adam, I bet that you grew up in like the best neighborhood in Palm Beach, and I said I always say Palm Beach County. I didn't grow up in Palm Beach. I grew up in West Palm Beach, and no, I didn't. I grew up in a trailer in West Palm Beach and also an apartment, and then after the apartment, it was a really really tiny modular home, and that is what I grew up in. And not to even, I don't even act like that because it's not a representation of the neighborhood to say that because
Correct.
people grow up that way,
Yeah.
that's how you were going to act. But of course there were things and people did fight and there were arguments and it was very different than going to like a Christmas party in Bel Air. I'll tell you that. But at the end of the day, it's when you see people who live in these massive, like these major $1 million homes, and it's like this cute, fun thing to be so just like, I'm about it. I'm about that life. You don't know. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what part of any of that have you seen? Have you seen it? Because if you've seen it, you probably would not want to be a part of it.
I don't know. It can be performative really quick. And I think it doesn't land because people know it is.
Right.
So when people just act inauthentically, it always hits the ear weird.
Yeah.
Right. We covered this story also at tasteofreality.com, and Golnessa, I hate it when people are disrespectful. So this this security guard was walking, caught eye contact with Paulina, could see that Paulina was endangered, saw this whole thing going down. This security officer decided to like take her out, walk her to the car, and Golnessa called him like a toy cop or something like that. Like, that's just so disrespectful. This man is like at a job, working, contributing, doing good, helping somebody, and you're gonna call it, like, why belittle him? Like, I hate when people belittle people doing their jobs. Like, he is a worker at a job. He or she, they are a person of integrity trying to do the right thing, and you and your privilege and your Lauren from Utah Tupac attitude coming in is not cute. From your Shaws of Sunset background, growing up in like a $10 million house, it's not
giving
cute.
I'm not Jen Shaw, sorry. No, it's getting Jennifer Aiden.
Yeah.
Just because you have a little bit of social media presence and popularity, you automatically think that you can treat people like subhuman, and you absolutely cannot.
By the way, I want to give a little plug in real quick. Adam have we talked traders yet? Adam does not talk traders, love traders. Stephanie, JJ, and Zach's mama said Taste of Reality does though. Guys, if you want to talk traders, I am not your guy, but Ashley and Imani, they do have a live discussion on tasteofreality.com. We'll get to that at the end where you guys can just check out all of these things, because I'm not going to be fair, there's no fucking way. I love you guys. There's no way I cannot cover all of this.
You don't have capacity.
The capacity does not, the limit, this is not Mean Girls, and the limit does exist.
The limit does exist.
The limit exists.
The limit exists. What I was going to say after that was, it was Gigi. I was going to say, are you guys watching, by the way, Real Housewives of Atlanta on Sunday?
Of course.
Yes, of course.
Did you see Shamia's intro?
So I didn't, because I saw a clip of it, but I try not to watch the previews because I just like to be surprised. But I saw a clip of it. What, Adam?
I didn't see
it. She has
the
second most expensive home in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
And the girl has money.
Good for her.
See it. We love a rich.
She has she has a hot husband. It makes me so sad. She has a daughter too that she's dealing with like medical situations with her daughter, and you just see her walk in. Her home is it's like we put her for so long behind Portia, because that's where she was, and to see, I'm like, this might actually, you guys, this might do it. I'm gonna miss me some Kenya Moore for sure.
I'm gonna miss Kenya so much. I'm so excited to see how Atlanta does this season, because I've seen a lot of conflicting feelings. People are thinking it's giving VH1, Love and Hip Hop, which is a little bit microaggressive, but I get the production seems different, and it does seem like a different show, but I think Bravo is just upping their production level. All of the new season premieres have been like a notch above last season, obviously. Like the production's just changing a little bit, but I'm excited to see how the show goes.
Right. Well, to your point, did you guys watch Denise Richards' show yesterday?
I haven't. I'm gonna watch it.
It's amazing. And it reads exactly like an old school E show, like the Kristen Cavallari show. I hate to say the name, but like back when the K words, like their first like couple seasons, even I enjoyed, like where it's a simpler show.
Not the K words. Are you
Wait,
is she saying the Kardashians?
Yeah, because it was like the Denise show is like a similar style show of that, like the way it's shot.
The cadence and whatnot.
Yeah, no, when you watch Denise's show, you're going to understand. Like when I say it's like an old E show, you'll know exactly what I mean.
I know what I can get the vibe.
I loved Denise's show.
I see so much conflicting reports though on Denise's show. I haven't yet watched it. I'm going to do that this morning, but I saw a lot of negativity about her show. I don't know if
I loved it. It's fake. Everyone's like, oh, it's fake, but all reality shows are fake. They're like, they're just not pretending. It's not fake fights, but like, Toaster thought it was bad. I loved it, but I also love that old school E genre. So plus I love Denise Richards and I loved her original reality show and I followed her my whole life.
Because Kristen Cavallari is about to go on and do she's doing a docu-reality series about her shit that she has going on.
She's not Dunzo.
But then it makes me, I'm not going to lie, that makes me really excited about Stassi Schroeder. I got yelled at, you guys, by the other day. I was at a place, and if she's watching, then I'm sorry. You're the one who yelled at me. I was at a place in Hilton Head called Frankie Bones, and this woman wanted to come up and talk to me about Stassi's thing, her new spinoff. And I said, I think it's going to be amazing. And they said, how can you support this racist woman? And just like went off. And I said, listen, I look at it and there was a moment where if you look at the video footage, there was a woman who they did prove had a matching jacket. She called the police. She thought it was Faith Stowers. Her and Kristen bragged about it. It was a stupid mistake. I think it was ridiculous. And I think it cost her a lot. And I think that in that she was able to understand what the ramifications of doing something so ignorant and stupid was. I don't think that everybody, unless you are, unless you're just like really, really disgusting, true to your core, and like you don't have the ability to learn from anything. I do feel like people should have the opportunity to do better. I think that's like, we all should have the opportunity to do better. If I make a mistake and I fuck up and if I'm like, Ashley, like, I'm so mad at you and blah, blah, blah. And Ashley's like, listen, something, I don't know, but Ashley gives me a second chance. I want the second chance to realize like, okay, Adam, you were a dick, and like, let's kind of move out of this and like have you understand why this is wrong. Because sometimes we're just ignorant and it's not an excuse. It's really not an excuse, but there has to be, even though everybody thinks that it should be so inherent, right? That people should act a certain way and that you should know better. It's really sick, you guys, like, especially because me, again, it's not about me, but like being around so many people and growing up around so many people are taught really aggressive beliefs and morals and disgusting things that they grow up with. And it takes them becoming adults to realize that those things that might have applied to their parents, but it doesn't apply to them. I'm definitely one of those people in the sense that like, I do not share a lot of the beliefs with a lot of people in my family. I'm not even close. I don't talk to half of my family because of these things, whether it's political or anything like that. And everybody's different. So I just feel like when I was getting attacked, when the woman, not attacked, that's aggressive, but when the woman wanted to tell me that I was such bullshit and garbage because I want to see Stassi's show, I said, I want to see the growth. I hope to see the growth. That's what I wanted from it. Right. And it was awkward. Trust me, it was awkward for my mom. It was awkward for my husband. It was awkward for everybody who was at the table. But I'm like, look at, what are you doing right now? You don't even know us. Why are you attacking me?
I love Stassi. I know sometimes we get slack on our page if I ever support her or talk about her. I've gone to 2 Stassi events, and listen, we can't speak to the mindset in which they were in. Was it a bad call 100%? Did they both pay for it? I feel like they did. And so you can't pigeonhole something to what they felt years ago. You know, I'm not saying she was racist then, but I'm just saying she has accepted it. She's apologized. Like, what more do you want from her? She's grown. She has 2 kids now. Let her be great and let her grow and let her make it right. And I feel like she has, and I will continue to be a Stassi supporter and fan. I love Stassi Schroeder. I will continue to support her projects. I enjoy her as a person. And if that makes me whatever, then I'll be that. But she learned from it and she grew. And that's all you could ever ask from somebody, is to evolve. And she did, I think.
Can I ask you both something before we sign off of here?
Sure.
What were your thoughts about the sentence for Karen Huger?
I think it was deserved. I know some people wanted us to talk about the Potomac finale or the reunion. I think she should have took the original plea, which was 6 months house arrest.
That is just delusion. And this whole thing is just baffling to me, because if Karen truly didn't watch that footage, obviously her lawyers did. You can't tell me they didn't, because they tried to get it thrown out as not being evidence. So they know. And in the end, I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that Karen said, we shouldn't have taken this to court because that's a waste of time, energy, resources for all parties involved. And that's BS. Like, Karen, I lost all respect for her. I am just really done with her at this point. The excuses, and a content warning right here. And I am not saying this didn't happen and didn't affect her, but the fact that Karen's a 60-something-year-old woman and is blaming a trauma from college for her drinking and driving is insane to me. The fact that her parents died in 2017 and 18, and that's a reason she drank and drive. She's blaming the SA in college.
I missed that. I knew
she blaming both.
Okay.
Yeah, she blamed both of those things for her choosing to get behind a car and drive drunk.
I mean, it's classic deflection. I mean, those are 2 hot topics that everyone knows somebody who's gone through either situation or they've been through it themselves. So it's one of those things where it's like, I'm going to grab onto something people can understand. But I'm just like, but Karen, this is your 4th infraction. You are in your 60s. I can't imagine losing my parents. And I hope to God I don't experience that for many, 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 many years in the future. But you can't use that. Also, I'm interested to know about who else was driving with her, because that was brought up a few times. And was Karen actually behind the wheel then, or was somebody else and she would rather take the rap on that to avoid whatever else was happening?
What could be worse?
What?
I mean, like, what would it be like unless she was like literally transporting a criminal, like what would be worse than her being caught drinking and driving?
Well, if people did find out, like say it was Blue Eyes or somebody.
Right. But like, is that worse than getting a DUI? Like, I mean, yeah, that's embarrassing. It'll
F up your marriage. Public opinion. Yeah.
Well, no, but then she could have argued and been like, that would have been an easier argument to be like, he saw that I was drinking. He saw me at the club and he offered to drive me home, and I was going to give him an Uber back to the bar where he was going to pick up his car and go back. She could have come up with something, Yeah.
Right.
I think that she messed up.
Christy G, you're right. And I'm going to bring in a little personal right here. It says she doubled her meds for depression. As somebody who, if I didn't have my 40 milligrams of citalopram every day, I would not be sitting here right now. I need my antidepressants. You can't just double your medication. Unless she pays for it, like on a black market, like me, I'm poor. I use insurance because like that's all I have. Like I can't afford medicine. I can't even afford insurance, but that's another story.
Insurance is expensive. Okay.
Right. So no, it's not like I can afford insurance either. But like if I want to up my dose, that means I'm taking double amount of my pills and I run out faster. and then I can't go to my doctor because he's like, I gave you a month's supply. Where did your month's supply go in 2 weeks? Like, you just don't, man, unless you're, like I said, buying medicine on a black market. Her doubling her medicine just doesn't work for me. And I have to ask you both and the comment section, was anybody else so offended at how stupid Karen and Ray think we are with that entire stage scene in the bathroom with her Hollywood glamour curls laid perfectly? The shot was perfect. She's in this gorgeous dress. Like, the way that, and Ashley clocked this at the reunion, the way they had like bullet points, it felt, for that conversation on screen. They were like, oh, but Ray said, oh, but it wasn't your first offense. It was so staged and curated, and it pissed me off.
I didn't have quite a visceral to it, because anytime a housewife doesn't come to the reunion for whatever reason, they tend to like have a little package. So like that wasn't jarring or shocking to me. I guess I just I care about this story, but like another one, like she's getting her jail time. I mean, that's about as much energy as I care, honestly, on this. It's Karen Huger. Like, she's getting what she'll never come back from this. And so that is probably worse than any jail sentence ever, because she prided herself on being with the Black Bill Gates. And now she's like, oh, I don't care about being the Grand Dame anymore. Well, because you're not anymore.
Right.
I guess.
Well, now you've done face. It's kind of like Luann de Lesseps, like you were the Countess, but then we saw you were getting arrested and going to rehab, and like.
But now she's the Countess again.
It's almost like, I know, the revival.
I mean, she does sell tickets as the Countess. She sells out events left and right.
Luann was up here, then she fell here, and everyone regarded her as such. And now she's like, not all the way up here again, but she's here. So like, Luann's resurgence or renaissance should be studied. Whoever her PR person, especially on Twitter, or X, excuse me, is iconic. They're so funny. So good on Luann for her resurgence.
Oi. All right, guys. Well, I think that we've covered most of the things. By the way, guys, Ashley and Imani, they have a whole life too. So we're going to get them to let us know everything about Taste of Reality real quick while I am so sorry, you guys, I do this to you every time, but I'm somebody who has to pee a lot. I have to pee. So
I had to go earlier.
Bye.
Okay, I'll start with the website if that's okay. We focus on Bravo, but we are Bravo and beyond. Yes, we've already posted about Gabby Wendy's wedding. We're so happy for her. We've talked about the Golnessa story that Adam mentioned. Don't know who's watching Southern Charm here. We love Molly. And she came out on a podcast talking about how she has dealt with depression and has used ketamine, which I found interesting. Actually, it's something my therapist recommended too. It's a thing. Yeah, so the website, we stay very busy with all things. And when Adam's back, he'll switch it over, but Imani will tell you about socials.
Yeah, and did you mention the live discussions each week?
Oh, no. Okay, so if you guys look at the top bar up there, it has a live discussion tab. And like, for instance, tonight is Southern Charm and... Is it just Southern Charm tonight?
Southern Charm and Southern House. No, Summer House. Wait, what's today? Wednesday?
No, it's today. It's
Summer
Wednesday.
House
It's Summer House today.
Thank you,
Summer
Megan.
House. Okay. And just so you guys see live discussions right here.
Yes, the live discussions were so fun last night. I mean, Beverly Hills is always so poppin', but
yeah,
I'm excited to see what more people say about the Denise Richards show.
Yeah, and as you can see, we're covering White Lotus. So if there's ever a show, which we started adding because people were talking about it. So if there's ever a show that you want to have a live discussion, let us know in a comment section and we'll add it up. But yeah, we have White Lotus, pretty much everything on Bravo. We have a Traders live discussion for anybody who's watching along with us and everyone.
Right.
So.
Real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think this is important to say. And Vicky mentioned ketamine killed Matt Perry. And absolutely, I'm not sure. I'm not Molly's doctor. I don't know how she was given ketamine, but ketamine is a thing that is prescribed by doctors and you can get it legally where I live. And just like any other, a lot of medications, like if you use them inappropriately, it can kill you, just like a lot of other medicines. So yeah, I'm not telling people to go out and do ketamine. For
No, of course we're not doctors, and I don't think
I'm
anyone
not a doctor. Yeah.
are. Okay, so this is our Instagram page. It's our name, which is tasteof_reality. And like Ashley said, we cover Bravo and beyond. So today, congratulations to Gabby Wendy and her partner, Robbie Hoffman. They tied the knot secretly not last month, in January. So we're super excited for her. She's the breakout star of Traders, and we just are obsessed and love her. So yeah, of course, we are covering the Britney story with Jax. Kudos to Monica Garcia on being pregnant. Super exciting for her. Hope she has a boy this time. So please follow us. And also we're posting a lot more TikToks to Adam's recommendation, which is absolutely, it's taking off, which is awesome. So if you want to follow us on Taste of Reality on
Daddy, look, I need you to do a man
TikTok.
We are actually having a lot of fun on TikTok. Like, I was so apprehensive about going on it. People are like, you should be on TikTok. You already do the work. You just need to talk about what you write about. And I was like, nah. And then Adam convinced us, and we have a lot of fun on there.
Yeah.
Comments pop off too. Even Miss Patricia slipped in.
Oh God.
Yeah, so if you guys want to follow us on here, we pretty much just talk about what we write about. Also, if there's anything else that we don't necessarily write about, we might still pop out a TikTok about it. So give us a follow. We're going over there. And again, as always, we're so thankful to Adam's family for supporting Taste of Reality and for following us and engaging with us. That means so much. So thank you a million times to the Adams family for becoming taste buds, some of you.
Yeah. And guys, also don't forget to, we're about to add, we just got in a whole new package today for the Blow Company. We're going to be adding a bunch of new products as we go. So right now we're still with the gummies. You guys can go check out the gummies. Let us know what you think. Everybody has been so kind, and I could not have expected the feedback and the way that you guys kind of sold out like the first couple rounds. I think that was really amazing. And thank you. We're going to experiment with some pet products and also mushrooms and all kinds of things. So the Blow Company is just going to keep expanding with the help of all of you guys. So thank you. And we're also, of course, going to be doing still a lot of giveaways. Now, with that, we love you guys. Smash the like button, show some love. Go to tasteofreality.com and join them tonight for the live discussions. We will see you guys so very soon. I hear Pippa in the back. She is in her crate and she is telling me, Dad, I gotta pee. And I'm like, girl, I know. I just went. So, okay. We love you guys. Smash the like button, show some love. See you next time. Bye.